Hello there, you're watching Reality Check on NDTV. I'm Maha Siddiqui. Arvind Kejriwal says a silent killer is on the prowl. The silent killer, he alleges, is the BJP, toppling elected governments by buying MLAs or threatening them with CBI and ED raids. He alleges 800 crore rupees have been set aside for Operation Lotus in Delhi, but so far the Aam Aadmi Party has turned it into Operation Bogus, according to them. Even as the Aam Aadmi Party levels serious allegations, although without evidence, the JMM-led government in Jharkhand is also indicating a sustained effort at Operation Lotus in their state. As Hemant Soren's position becomes weak, the BJP is drumming for mid-term polls. JMM asks, has the BJP not been able to manage numbers despite doling out cash? After Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, the opposition is wary, but the BJP says they are not into the business of buying MLAs, but only making legitimate claim to power. On Reality Check this evening, decoding Operation Lotus.
40 MLA तोड़ने हैं, 20-20 करोड़ रुपए इनको देंगे, 800 करोड़ रुपए इन्होंने कहीं रख रखे हैं। दिल्ली में ऑपरेशन लोटस, दिल्ली इस नाम से चल रहा है, ऑपरेशन लोटस दिल्ली के नाम से इनका पूरा ये ऑपरेशन है।
जब से सरकार बने तब से अस्थिर करने में भारतीय जनता पार्टी लगेगी।
Joining me now on the show, Sharad Pradhan, senior journalist, Lavanya Balal, spokesperson of the Congress Party, PKD Nambiar, he supports the BJP as a political analyst, Professor Govardhan Das, BJP leader, Jasmine Shah, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Jasmine Shah, coming first to you. The Aam Aadmi Party says Operation Lotus is Operation Bogus in Delhi. Then why is the Aam Aadmi Party drumming this up for the last few days? Is this more about gaining sympathy or attention for the Gujarat elections?
I think we need to understand the chronology of incidents. It's been 2 months that AAP has upped its campaign in Gujarat, and every single poll of Gujarat elections, shows that today it is the Aam Aadmi Party that is the primary opposition. Congress is not there. Congress is finished in Gujarat. And what happens, therefore, the response of the BJP is happening in Delhi. They cooked up a random liquor scam. Nothing worked. CBI raids were ordered at many locations, including the House of Deputy CM. It's been 7 days. Not a single piece of evidence they've been able to show. And therefore, what do? You go back to the thing that BJP specializes in, which is toppling opposition governments, not at the ballot. After the elections have finished, by buying MLAs. Total from 2014, 277 MLAs have switched sides from opposition governments to BJP. It is being alleged that 5,500 crores is being spent, and this is the kind of offer that our MLAs have got. 40 such MLAs have been approached. But the BJP did not count for the fact that this is the Aam Aadmi Party. This is an honest party. This is the party of Arvind Kejriwal. They stand by
Yesterday,
Arvind Kejriwal.
Yesterday the numbers that you stated were that 12 MLAs had got calls and there is an attempt to poach 40. But today you're saying there 40 MLAs have got calls. Is that what you're
MLAs
suggesting?
And 800 crores. The money that was offered was 20 crore in Delhi. And if that is the amount that you add to 277 crore, this is a 5,500
All right.
crore.
So let's get a response now from the BJP, against whom you're leveling all these allegations. Professor Das, just a couple of weeks rather ago, Tejasvi Yadav said that a similar allegation that the Aam Aadmi Party is making, that the BJP has an SOP, standard operating procedure, जो डरता है डराओ, जो बिकता है खरीदो. Will the BJP deny that it broke the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra to form a government, or was trying to break the JDU, which is why Nitish Kumar left the alliance?
Good evening to you, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. BJP is a national party and it's the world's biggest party. BJP doesn't need to do all this, and these are the parties. They're the regional parties, the small parties. They are always in fear. हमें ले लेगा, हमें कर लेगा. They don't have any basis. And when you talk about the Kejriwal, he is a pure liar. His party is based on the lie from the day when he said Kejriwal is never going to, fight election. From that day to today, Kejriwal party, Aam Aadmi party is based on total lie. They do not deliver. They fail to deliver, and the people of Delhi already they are rejecting, and they are one of their ministers is in jail. And if investigation goes on,
what is the basis, Professor Das, on which you are saying the people of Delhi are rejecting the present government? What is it based on, this claim?
Based on the claims, if you go and look at in street, and you will wherever you hear,
we'll wait for elections. Let's wait for elections. I think the ballot speaks. Right, and you believe in that. All right. Okay, let me go across to Lavanya. I'll come back to both of you. I know all of you have to make several points here, but Lavanya, I want to come across to you. Does the BJP utilize weak links in parties and alliances? After all, it was 3 Congress MLAs from Jharkhand who were found with cash about just a month ago. Can the Congress today vouch for its MLAs in Jharkhand at this moment?
Good evening, Maha. First of all, I would like to point out the entire thing about enticing MLAs from opposition parties is subversion of the constitution. When they claim that they try to form a legitimate claim to form a government, that itself is so incorrect. If the people have not given you the mandate, you enticing the leaders or MLAs from opposition parties, or you threatening them with IT raids and ED raids and CBI raids, and pushing them to leave their parties and come to a BJP is a subversion of the constitution, sir. That is not a legitimate claim. And NDA, let me remind you, NDA is not led only by BJP. It is a coalition of multiple parties. There are regional parties as well which are part of NDA. So your condescending attitude towards the regional parties must stop. And when you keep talking about Congress Mukt Bharat, let me remind you, BJP is Congress Yukt BJP. And today, yes, we have trust in our leaders.
So it is your party leaders, Lavanya, who are leaving your party and joining the other side. The BJP says that we are not telling them to join, they are coming on their own.
You are not telling us to join. You are forcing us. You are forcing us with ED, IT, CBI raids. You are also enticing our leaders. And it has been proved multiple times, even in Karnataka, with loads of money. The question is, why isn't anyone asking BJP the source of these amount of money? Look at the current BJP government in Karnataka. It was a backdoor entry. Look at what they did in Maharashtra. It is once again a backdoor entry. It is not people's mandate. When you are purchasing,
so in most of these states, Lavanya, their argument has been that they were the single largest parties, that they were the real claimant, and the others cobbled up an alliance. But we will discuss that, because post-poll alliances are actually very, very valid over here. Let me go across to PKD Nambiar as well. PKD Nambiar, are the fears of the opposition not unfounded after what we have seen in Maharashtra specifically, a large chunk of the Shiva Sena breaking up and going to the other side? Please unmute yourself, PKD Nambiar. PKD Nambiar, go ahead. We can't hear you. All right, we'll try and fix that audio. I'll go across back to Jasmine, because I think he wanted to make a point there. But Jasmine, when is it that the Aam Aadmi party is going to produce evidence?
We will. See, this is a very serious issue. An attempt like this has never happened in Delhi, at least. We have seen this happening across the length and breadth of the country in the last 7 years. As I was talking about 277 MLAs, governments after government, 2015 to 2022, which is Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka. I mean, I think we can talk for half an hour only about the governments and how they have toppled it. In every state, some MLAs always come out and say, what is the rate that was offered? In Delhi, it was 20 crore. And we are putting all the evidence together. In due course, we will make sure that BJP is held to account. But the people of the country need to know that this serial killer who's murdering the democracy of India is none other than the BJP. They, the arrogance with which they say we are the largest political party, we are the richest political party. Ye kiska paisa hai? Whose money is it? Very recently we found out that those people whose lakhs of crores have been written off by the BJP government, they are the ones in fact who are funding the BJP. So this is the biggest case of corruption.
Well, I'm not aware when they made the claim of being the richest political party, but yes, certainly they've claimed that they are the biggest political party. Let me bring in Sharad Pradhan. He's joining us now. Sharad Pradhan, how vulnerable do you think are the governments of Delhi and Jharkhand at the moment as per your assessment?
The manner in which the BJP is trying to literally bulldoze, they're using the bulldozer wherever they can. And so, no, it's no holds barred. It's the kind of things that they have been doing, to least to say that they are undemocratic. The ruling dispensation led by Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, I think all kinds of the democratic values have been just left to the they are ready to ransack anyone, bulldoze anyone.
So you are suggesting that the Delhi and Jharkhand governments are indeed vulnerable? Is that what you're suggesting?
Absolutely, absolutely. The way the institutions have been completely, I would say compromised, they're completely dominated by the ruling dispensation, or even organizations like the Election Commission.
Okay, I'll take that question with PKD Nambiar. PKD Nambiar, I asked you about how fears of the opposition perhaps at the moment could be very real because of what happened in Maharashtra, and a large chunk of the Shiv Sena broke away. But Sharad Pradhan has also raised the question of the Election Commission. Since yesterday, we are hearing JMM and Congress say, how is it that the BJP leaders knew about the disqualification of Hemant Soren when the opinion of the Election Commission was in a sealed cover given to the governor, and there was no public revelation about what the opinion was? PKD Nambiar, will you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Can you hear me now, Ma?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Ma? It seems I'm in a bad network. My apologies if you can hear. I can only tell you this much, that of the people who are talking about an Operation Lotus, it is basically a loser statement. The only one thing you can buy which is available for sale. Does that mean that all the AAP MLAs were out for sale to purchase for somebody else, whether it is BJP or for someone else? Is the mines in Jharkhand was खुद के लिए जो किसने जो लिखकर दिया हुआ, the one who was sanctioned his own mines for himself and his family? Is he the right person to be a chief minister? I think Saratji, you have seen so much more the world than me and most of the other people in the panel. And if you see that a political party is not able to handle its own MLAs and MPs, and you are supporting those people, how do you expect those political parties to rule this country or govern this country and to give a good governance? Operation Lotus is just a loser statement. The people who are not able to handle their own house in the order is going to happen there. Another thing is that as far as the Congress spokesperson was talking about that, this is very simple. With the Congress is that you don't require an Operation Lotus for that matter or anything else. It will go on, it will die on its own. Yes, as you are seeing one by one, the leaders
let Lavanya respond to that. Let there be a response from the opposition. Only those who are up for sale can be bought. Lavanya.
Let me rephrase his statement. I would like to rephrase it and say, the people from opposition are the people who value the constitution, who respect the constitution, who want to function under the framework of the constitution, whereas BJP very strongly disrespect the constitution. They have made it very clear with their statements also that they are going to change the constitution, and time and again they have proved that they will subvert the constitution. So this year itself, if you look at the records, Maha,
if you are questioning the ethics, of the BJP, what PKD Nambiar is saying, question the ethics of those MLAs or representatives who are up for sale, who can be bought.
My question is this to BJP. So does that mean if there is a weakness that with the opposition party leaders, maybe from whichever party they are, if you are threatening them with CBI raids, ED raids, IT raids, if you are threatening, if you are offering them hundreds of crores, you think as humans they are supposed to say no? Isn't that enticement itself is anti-constitutional?
All right. Professor Das, answer that question. Enticement is wrong. And that is the ethical point that is being raised. Also, Professor Das, the BJP was able to get 21 rebel MLAs of the Congress in Madhya Pradesh, 39 with Eknath Shinde. Is the Aam Aadmi Party's fear in Delhi then real that 40 can really be poached and it's not an impossible task for the BJP?
Yeah, Maha, let me tell you two points. Let me make it. Number one, in Maharashtra, these MLAs, they did not support the other their Gathbandhan, but they did not come to BJP. They did not convert to BJP. Number one, right? So number two, the Congress, they are fearing whatever you are talking about, all this buying all MLAs and these and that. Actually, in whole India, in whole country, the Congress is being rejected by the people of this country. In fact, Congress leaders are rejecting now Congress. Now Ghulam is also Azad from the Congress. Ghulam Nabi Azad is also Azad from the Congress. So basically, Congress party should not talk about this or buying and selling all
Lavanya,
these.
Is that hitting below the belt, or do you think that really is a weakness of the opposition that is being exploited?
Well, I would say this, BJP has never been the one to uphold the political discourse in this nation. They have dragged it to the gutter. So I'm not surprised by his statements. We function, like I said, we function within the framework of the constitution, and all these witty statements or what he thinks is witty statements, so it is not witty statements. You are destroying the democracy of this nation.
Sharad Pradhan, the BJP has often accused the Congress party in the past having used presidential rule as a means to take over states in the past. They are saying perhaps in some cases they've just followed their precedents. What would you say? Was the precedent set long back?
Well, there have been. I mean, there's no denying that Congress did it in some cases. But today, the blatant manner in which it is being done and the way it is becoming rampant is, and then a bad precedent is never to be followed, is not supposed to be followed. And BJP, which talks of a party with a difference, a government with a difference. Narendra Modi talked of all kinds of moralities, but what is the morality? I agree that people are up for sale, but they are to blame if they are up for sale. But those who are purchasing, aren't they also as much to blame?
Jasmine Shah wants to come in. Jasmine Shah wants to come in.
Just one more thing.
Okay.
BJP has the kind of money that BJP has at its command through all the kinds of the the business houses which are at their disposal, the manner in which they have been favored to become Asia's #1. So that is the way BJP operates. And I can only think of the democracy being completely eroded, bulldozed in this country by all these means, using these institutions.
Okay. All right. So it's not just money. The allegation is that agencies are also being used as a tool to overturn governments. Jasmine Shah wants to make a point. Go ahead.
It is almost shocking to hear, the BJP spokesperson saying that, it's fine if you're offering money, but why are the opposition MLAs selling out? I mean, this is almost a tacit admission that yes, we are giving out money. There is no harm with it. Go do whatever you want to. But at the same time, it's shocking for the nation to hear that Congress MLAs are up for sale. Why is it happening in state? It's not one state. It is not two states. States after state, if in the MLA market, if BJP is the buyer, then there is a seller in the name of Indian National Congress. But the Aam Aadmi Party, in contrast, today, whichever state, look at...
Jasmine Shah, if the Aam Aadmi Party was so confident of its MLAs, sorry, I'm interjecting you. If the Aam Aadmi Party was so confident of its MLAs, why was a head count done yesterday? Why were there reports that some people are not contactable? There was some sense of fear, wasn't it, in the Aam Aadmi Party?
Look, there is always a sense of fear, Maha, that, at the end of the day, the might of the money and the way, and it is not just that, it is the entire power is being unleashed But we have faith. We have faith because the people of Delhi have put faith in Arvind Kejriwal, and Mr. Kejriwal today asked for a floor test. You know, which a leader of any government says that no, we will do this as a matter of our own moral duty to the people of Delhi.
But some accuse your party of drama, Jasmine Shah. Some accuse your party of drama. They believe that this is in the run-up to the Gujarat elections, and many would say that all is fair in politics, maybe. But Sharad Pradhan, are we likely to see this go up all the way up to Gujarat and Himachal elections? All right, we seem to have lost our link there with Sharad Pradhan. I'll go back to Professor Das. Professor Das, so many allegations that are leveled against the BJP over here by the two parties, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress. They are not just talking about money being used, but also the agencies being utilized, the ED, the CBI. How would you respond to that, especially considering the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party has said not a single extra rupee was found in Manish Sisodia's residence, no cash was recovered, no documents were recovered, and 14 hours of raids yielded nothing?
So, Maha, there are 2 points to make. Number one, when we are talking about this, is if they have that evidence, they are offering money and these and that, instead of talking about shouting in the national TV, why don't they go to in a legal procedure? They can go to the Supreme Court. They never do it because they are beating the empty drum. So number one. Number two, when you were talking about the what's her name? I forgot. The Congress spokesperson says there is not the constitution, this and that. The Congress party was the one during this emergency. They actually changed the preamble of the constitution. So they should not talk about the moral of this constitution. So and they are the one.
You just heard Sharad Pradhan that wrong precedents shouldn't be followed, right?
So is that what BJP wants to be?
And I'm saying is they don't have any evidence so far.
Is that the new India that you have given to the people of the country?
They speak only because of fear. They don't have any evidence. They keep on, because they don't have confidence in themselves. That's
Jasmine Shah is saying that they will produce evidence. They will produce evidence at the right time. Jasmine Shah?
Let them produce, then come to the national.
Professor Das is also asking, why not take legal recourse?
No. The BJP citing all the crime that Congress had done in the 70s to use it as a crutch to say that therefore we will buy out MLAs as we wish. Don't ask us. You should have actually said that please invite CBI and ED to investigate each of the states where you have toppled. Send CBI and ED to Maharashtra, send CBI and ED to Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, send them to Meghalaya, send them to Manipur, send them to Assam.
You are talking in the air. You are talking in the air.
No, you are going to talk about emergency here.
If you have evidence, go to the court.
If you do not have undemocratic, unconstitutional act of buying out MLAs, and you want to justify this kind of a thing in front of the people of the nation.
You do not have any evidence. Without evidence, you party like Aam Aadmi Party can talk.
Without any evidence. Professor Das, I'll come in here for a bit. Professor Das, their point is that there is enough evidence in the manner in which the BJP has been going about toppling governments.
Where is the evidence?
Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, they are saying that there is a standard operating procedure. They can read the signs.
Don't make it narrative. Don't make it narrative. Where is the evidence?
Okay, Lavanya wants to come in. Let me go across to her. Lavanya?
Supreme Court.
Okay, let her make a point.
If BJP was not involved in the toppling of the Maharashtra government, why was the Chief Minister of Assam, when Assam was flooded and people were dying and the bodies were floating in the capital of Assam, why was he so busy interacting with the leaders who had gone from Maharashtra to Assam, and why did they choose Assam as a safe haven for their activities? Why didn't they stay back in Bombay? If they were not involved, if BJP was not involved, what was their CM doing with the leaders of Maharashtra? This is just a recent example. I will not even go into what they did in Karnataka and other states. This is the recent past I'm talking about. Why is it that all parties in India are accusing only of BJP and not of each other, that the horse trading happens by the BJP only?
Okay, Sharad Pradhan is back. Professor Das, I'll come back to you. Sharad Pradhan, I want to understand from you, how was it that Nitish Kumar was able to read the signs, and how could he avert a possible Operation Lotus as they suggest?
Well, Nitish Kumar, I would say that he was smart enough to know what is lying ahead, and that's the reason he took the step. And he gave instead of getting the jolt, he gave a jolt to Narendra Modi. And that's why, now BJP is training its guns on them as well. And don't be surprised if tomorrow you have ED or CBI gunning for Nitish Kumar and company, or Tejasvi Yadav. So, the whole idea at the moment is BJP, why, like somebody asked that, why is it that BJP is always being blamed for horse trading? Obviously, in any case, those who are in power, they have more resources at their command. And in case of BJP, which doesn't believe in fundamental democratic values, for them, winning is the ultimate goal at any cost. And the kind of money they have at their disposal, which I pointed out, why they have, because they have been extending all kinds of undue favors to big business houses who are
we are running completely out of time. We'll have to leave it at that. The jury is still out as far as at least Delhi and Jharkhand are concerned as to whether these are real claims that are being made, are opposition parties being wary and making this public, or are these just bogus claims? Many thanks to all our guests for joining us here on the discussion. With that, we're taking a very quick break.